All right. Today, once again, it is Saturday and the weekend, and we are here. This is the Gracious Hope podcast. We are live streaming right now. And as we begin this program, we'd like to ask that you share with your friends, your families, and your loved ones so that they can be a part of this program. Just click that share button. And today, we will be looking at the state of the Liberian press. Now, the Liberian press is the cornerstone of our democracy, or it could be any country. The press is the cornerstone of any democratic society, acting as a watchdog, providing vital information and fostering accountability. Now, in our home country, Liberia, the press has demonstrated its influence by challenging the status quo, exposing corruption, and giving voice to the marginalized. However, despite these achievements, the Liberian press or media faces numerous challenges threatening its freedom and ability to function independently and effectively. Now, ALJA, a dedicated organization of Liberian journalists based in the Americas, has been at the forefront of defending press freedom and promoting ethical journalism practices. Through its unwavering commitment, ALJA has become a strong advocate for the Liberian press, ensuring it remains independent and accountable to the public. And one of the primary ways ALJA supports the Liberian press is by providing capacity building initiatives, scholarship, logistical support, and active engagement in the country's political progress. And so ALJA actively engages with the Liberian government and international organizations to advocate for press freedom and the protection of journalists' rights. By raising awareness of the challenges the Liberian press faces, ALJA seeks to create a conducive environment where journalists can operate without fear of intimidation or reprisals. And this is the advocacy that works better for our country and for the media. And it is this advocacy which is working now, and it has been worked on and promoted. So this advocacy work is vital in establishing Liberia's open and transparent society. Now, ALJA's president, Mr. Pewee Baysah, is our guest today. We will be discussing his recent trip in the country and some of the interactions and goals to empower the Liberian press to report objectively, ethically, and with integrity, which is crucial for maintaining public trust. And so then our guest today, President Baysah, will be discussing that. But before then, we will be right back. Don't go away. Like I said, share this link with your friends, your families, and your loved ones so they can be a part of this podcast today. And this is the Gracious Hope Live podcast. We are live streaming right now. So please stay tuned and we will be right back. Okay, and this platform is all geared toward promoting and preserving our Christian heritage, and that's what the platform is about. We talk about events and issues and personal stories that will inspire our fellow Liberians to promote peace, reconciliation, and unity. And that's what this platform is all about. I'm your host. My name is Alexander Ray, your host. And it is a pleasure right now to bring on our special guest for today, Mr. Pewee Baysah. He is the current president of the Association of Liberian Journalists in the Americas, for short, ALJA. Would like to say welcome, President Baysah, to our podcast today.
Good morning, Dr. Red, and it's a pleasure to be with you this morning on a Saturday. I think ALJA and you've been one of the integral part of ALJA, staying in the pivotal role that we need to continue to talk about the importance of how our Liberian media institutions in the country behave in terms of disseminating information and what have you. So I'm happy to be on your program. I look forward to a fruitful discussion.
Yes, yes, yes. Recently, you were in the country. This is not your first time. When you were the vice president of ALJA, you visited Liberia, and even when you momentarily stepped down, and you went to Liberia, or you traveled there on behalf of the administration of Mr. Joe Mason, and you have been interacting with the Liberian media, scoping to see their needs and see areas in which you can help. Now you are now the president of ALJA, and your recent trip coincided with the national elections, from the presidential and legislative elections to the presidential election after was the second round. And you saw a whole lot, and you met a lot of Liberians from the cross section of Liberians, even the elections commissioner, David Brown, Lasana. Now, tell us, what is your feel so far looking at the media landscape of our country? What are some of the areas you believe that ALJA needs to focus in order to help the media be strong in its advocacy and public awareness and public trust?
Thank you, Mr. Ray. Again, ALJA has been a great partner to the Liberian media, especially to the president of Liberia. It's unfortunate that our president of Liberia has continued to be in crisis. We've been at the point of mediation to ensure that that portion of our partnership continues as an organization. ALJA, like everybody have heard and have seen the work we do. So we have been more intentional about what do we do, or what can we foresee our Liberian media institution look like in the next 5 years, in the next 10 years. We intend to focus on key areas of what can we do in terms of capacity building, in terms of providing logistical support, in terms of providing trainings. We become more intentional about how accurate these media institutions, these journalists report their story, how fair and impartial they can report their story, how independent are these media institutions in terms of reporting the stories that they have to fetch every day. What about transparency? We think about transparency as well. We think about accountability. How accountable are these media institutions in making sure that whatever they say or they do are in line of standards? We talk about ethical conduct. Because of all these, we've decided as an institution to be able to provide support, and that support, I want to say thanks to my predecessors, Joe Mason, and then before them Moses Sandy. These people set the basis for which we can be able to step on today and reach out to the larger public of our Liberian media institution. We've been able to reach out to Liberia. It's not an easy task at this point. We've been able to reach out to over 75 media institutions in the country in terms of providing logistical support. We've not only provided logistical support to media institutions in Monrovia. We know Monrovia is a capital, but we think that we needed to decentralize our recruitment process.
Mhm.
We were able to provide computers, laptops to media institutions in the 15 counties of Liberia. That's huge. We have over 200 media institutions in the country. It takes time to be able to gradually reach out to everybody, but we've strategically focused on media institutions that are in the Leeward counties and some are in Monrovia. Basically, both electronic and print medias. We've been able to provide macro tape recorders to over 75 media institutions in Liberia. We've been able to provide trainings to the Liberian media in terms of the bigger public. We just provided training just last year to media institutions in Monrovia. We had people coming from all over the country, and we had that training in Monrovia. We were able to also provide training to FIJA, the Female Journalists Association of Liberia. We provided training for journalists, female journalists from all of the counties that actually came to Monrovia, and we provided training for them. We were able to also provide computers and macro recorders to FIJA to be able to decentralize their own process of their work. So we've been engaged in Liberia. We've been going to Liberia. I remember last year I was able to go to Liberia 4 times, which is abnormal for me. But because of ALJA's work, because of the work of the people, I took my time to be able to do that. I was in Liberia last month, ensuring that again our media institutions again get the support that they need, especially under a new government, especially on a government where we want to see more transparency, more accountability. That as you report, in journalism, they say when a tree falls in the forest where there's nobody and you're there, if you didn't carry the story, then there's no story.
Mhm.
If you are there and you carry the story that has to do with human interest, I think that's enough to have people informed. We've also been able in the United States to explore avenues to be able to reach out to media institutions as well. We are right now in the process of partnering with public radio, Minnesota Public Radio. We are in the process of partnering with the CCX television TV station here in Minnesota. We are in also working to ensure that we have exchange of journalists with those institutions. We have scholarship for Liberian media, Liberian journalists. Right now, we are waiting for just the process to begin. We've been offered one slot scholarship for a health reporter in Liberia.
Mhm.
So there are a lot on our plate at this point trying to work on it. We intend to come up with a newsletter in the next couple of weeks for ALJA that speaks to the importance of what ALJA work is, what the membership is, what we do to promote the interests of Liberian journalists and interests of us as journalists here in America. We committed in our inaugural speech that we need to provide accountability. That is provide quarterly report. We're actually working on that. That's going to be made available in the next couple of weeks as well. So there are a lot on the plate of the president and the members of the executive committee to ensure that what needs to happen for the organization is not just what Joe Mason had done, what Mr.
Cindy.
Sandy has done, but what can we do to continue to touch? When people are having track and field, they have the first group that take the touch and run across the realm, and the other person picks it up. So I think that is the zeal we find ourselves in at this point. I think Joe Mason has given us the touch, and we are here ready to move as quickly as possible to carry that touch.
Yeah, and I'm so impressed by the engagements on your trip to our country, meeting various personalities in the media landscape and providing the logistical support like the tape recorders and the laptops. They are helpful, and the tape recorders, they are all helpful for the media to function effectively, given that technology is advancing every way. And so, if they have their friends in the United States who are supplying these things, I believe that that engagement is very healthy, and it promotes an atmosphere of friendship and that commonality of patriotism in a way. Now, from your own perspective, looking at the media landscape right now, even with the logistics and the promotion of objectivity, ethical standards, and practices, have you held any discussion about how each media institution should take care when it comes to salary, taking care of their employees, because that is one area where we see the potential for the weakness of the media. If you work as an individual reporter for a media institution and your pay is low, or you don't have to get receive paid on time, uh, it sets you up to be prone to bribery by politicians or for others on the outside to influence your media institution. How is ALJA working along with those media institutions to make sure that our employees are paid and they are well taken care of based on their skills?
Dr. Red, since we took over office, it's been 4 months, and I've just outlined some of the things that
Hmm.
we've started doing. We hit the ground running, and that's one of the things that is on our radar. But before that, immediately we got inaugurated. We headed straight to Liberia on a plane to represent ALJA, to serve as international observer in the past elections. We were able to be part of that observation mission in Liberia. We went to three counties. We're in Bon County, we're in Margibi County, we're in Maserati County. I headed a four-man delegation of international observer to Liberia, and it was fruitful. We saw things that we've never seen before, and it was just a point where ALJA, this was first time in the history of ALJA that we can serve as international observer and bring back to the body to say, yeah, we have begun to work in the interest of you and in the interest of the Liberian people.
You mean
Uh,
observance of the election, right? As an
yes,
international
yes,
representative,
international
monitoring the elections. Okay.
monitoring elections.
Okay.
So
What are
uh,
some of the things that ring some alarm in your head?
a
What are
lot, a
some of the
lot, a
things?
lot, a lot, a lot, a lot. I mean, just going out there in Bon County. Again, voter education is one thing that needs to happen, and we did our recommendation to the National Elections Commission. Voter education is crucial. People need to know how to vote. You might think that Liberia has been voting since 100 plus years, but the process of voting, the education that is needed for voting, is not there. We recommended that there's a need for more voter education in the process of elections. Security aspect of how there's a security aspect of electoral, processes are done. We did recommend there's so much poor security process. Who man the ballots after the ballot boxes are closed to the headquarters of the National Election Commission? What happens with people in the leeward counties that do not have roles and to be able to get to other places? Again, I was in Bon County during that process of election, and one of the things that already teared my heart in the process of that election was people from all walks of life, Dr. Red,
Mhm.
who just thought that they could be put in the wheelbarrows to even come to vote. They were in a wheelbarrow to come and vote because they felt that there's a need for them to their voice to be heard, and the voice that they thought could be heard is their vote.
Mhm.
And they came to those those booths to be able to cast their ballots. I moved from Bon County to Margibi, and what I experienced in Margibi also was the fact that more again education. People were not educated to the point where who should I vote for, what should I put in the box. Um, um, One of the things that I've seen and we've seen in America is the need to have accessibility for disability. So if
Mhm.
disabilities, people with disability can be able to go to vote, what are the mechanisms put in place for them to be able to vote? That was not there. We hope that that can be included in the next elections
And
process.
talking about disability, you mean people who are, I don't want to use that word, handicapped, those who have
People with
limitations,
developmental
those who can
disability, yeah,
walk, those who can
developmental, yeah,
see, those who
yeah,
can
people, exactly.
function properly. Okay.
Exactly. People who need transportation in terms of their mobility and all that. Um, that's what I'm saying. People had to bring their family members in wheelbarrows to be able to vote because they didn't have that process already put in place. The election magistrates and election voter monitors actually complained about that process. I spoke to a lady from the EU. Somebody from the EU said the same thing. The ECOWAS representative said the same thing. So I didn't just go saying I want to actually find out what is your view of this and what is your view of that. But the importance that got attached to that is people were out there to vote because they feel that their voice can be heard through their votes. Um, Maserati County became a really huge place to think about when it comes to the voting process.
Mhm.
Um, there are times where there are places where voting started on time. There are places where voting did not start on time. There are places where the Liberian National Police could not even handle the level of chaos that was taking place. So there are a lot of work that that we recommended that need to be done.
What what's about the Liberian media? What were some of the things that you believe that would need to be done in order for them to be more effective? The Liberian press, the journalists.
Again, the provision of transportation by their media institutions, the empowerment of those people by their media institutions to be able to go out in the leeward counties. Liberia has 15 counties,
Hmm.
and 15 counties, over 1,005 to 2,000 districts. So you're talking about going to every hamlet, every polling centers. The electoral process put in place over 5,000 plus
Mhm.
polling centers. So you think about those areas, how can we even have our reporters going to all these areas? So again, logistical support by the media institution to their reporters, financing their in and out of these processes. It was a challenge for many of them. I met a lot of journalists in Banga, Bon County,
Mhm. Mhm.
who complained that probably they're going to only monitor elections in Bangabong County because they don't have the capability to be able to move to other counties because they don't have the funding. And you spoke earlier to the fact that if we have been able to meet with media, head of media institution, talk about salaries and payment and all that.
Mhm.
Absolutely. Dr. Ray, I'm a go-getter. Go-getter in a sense where I need to know what's happening in our Liberian media landscape to be able to get us as institutions, as journalists, funding.
Mhm.
And the functionality of these institutions and media personnel can only be fueled by these publishers,
Yeah.
these head of institutions. And how do they go about that? Is to empower them.
Yeah.
So that empowerment process is why we were able to meet with the Reporters Association of Liberia. We're able to hear some of their plights. We're able to meet with the Publisher Association. We're able to hear some of their plights of where they are in terms of providing the support to their own reporters. We're able to meet with the Female Journalists Association in Liberia to get some fundings.
Mhm.
Now, these fundings we've put together, we definitely have come back here, sit down with the executive committee and the larger membership, and said these are the problems we have. How do we become of help to these people in different ways? Yes, we provided logistical support to them. We provided trainings, but there are more to that. What can we do to help them even do their job even better? So that's the phase we are on right now to
Mhm.
be able to work together, put all these reports together, get a larger public, our membership get to know exactly what are the unfolding events in our country. More to that, going to Liberia, partnershiping with the president of Liberia, which is technically our alma mater. our
Yes.
mother organization. Um, it is appalling to note that the PUL is at war or is at crisis. It's in crisis at this point. This crisis um, indirectly, or directly does not affect us, but indirectly affect us as an organization.
Mhm.
Um, we were able to serve as a mediation, John, on the process of mediating the crisis between the two groups of the PUL conflict right now. Um, Fortunately, we were able to meet with the Yakuna group. We had to meet with the Julius Kanaba group. We were to meet with the stakeholders of the PUL.
Mhm.
We were actually on the trajectory of accomplishing some results. Unfortunately, time caught up with us in Liberia. We had to leave, and I'm very grateful at this time to inform you, Dr. Red, that one of the bodies of these the conflict people in the conflict, Mr. Daniel Yakwana, resigned yesterday uh,
Mhm.
from this whole priest president of Liberia. But we're going to look at this resignation holistically. Is he resigning from the president of Liberia? Um, but the crisis still remains. The crisis is not solved. So where
Mhm.
are we as an organization or as an institution? So there are a lot of communication that we're going to be putting forth. In
Mhm.
fact, this morning I tried reaching out to um, Yakwana to commend him for his role he's playing or he's played to step aside. I have also reached out to Julius Kanamba, and we need dialogue to begin immediately.
Yeah.
Where can we go from here? So that's what ALJA is involved with. You might think I'm having ALJA as a full-time job at this point. I have a full-time job as well. I got family to take care of. But the passion that we've developed, the passion that we've had over the past 20 years as journalists, coming to America and knowing what we left behind, knowing the importance of what we as Liberian journalists living in the Americas need to do. And it's so unique to this organization because this organization stands for us to advocate for social justice, or promote camaraderie among ourselves as an organization, make sure speak to power. We were also able to speak into the point of speaking to power. We're also able to meet with the vice president of Liberia, the current vice president.
Yeah,
Uh,
and we'll get to the political aspect of it shortly. But for our viewers just joining us, we'd like to say this is the Gracious Hope podcast. We are live streaming here, and we are here every Saturday to present interesting stories from our homeland, Liberia. And today, our special guest is President Pewee Baysah, and he has the Liberian journalists who reside in the United States, and the organization is ALJA, and he has been talking about some of the efforts on behalf of ALJA, his recent trip last year, the latter part of last year to Liberia, making sure that ALJA served as an international observer of the national elections, and some other modalities that he has been working on with the media, Liberian media. And the goal, according to him, for ALJA is to engage both not just the Liberian press, but also the political process. And so this is what we're talking about here. So please share our link here with your friends, and take a break, and we'll be right back. Don't go away. We'll be right back. right. And this is where you make your voice heard. And our platform is geared toward promoting and preserving the Liberian Christian heritage. And this is where fellow Liberians come to share their stories, their experiences, and how we can make our country a vibrant nation for all people. Honor God. And we are so privileged to hear from the president of ALJA, who is focusing on how the media can be more objective and to maintain its status as an independent media and some of the things that are needed to bring that cohesiveness in the media and also to continue to promote public awareness and public trust. And Mr. Baysah, I know you observe a lot of things, and you are coming back to the ALJA membership in the United States to see how your administration can tackle these things. When you were elected as the president, you got on the ground and started running right away. You had an election coming. There's a whole lot. You felt overwhelmed. And it was a huge sacrifice to leave the United States, put a hold on your job here, state job, to go back in Liberia and work with the parties involved in many our country to work a better country. Now, looking at the media landscape, looking at the government, and looking at the populace, we expect the media or the Liberian press to create awareness and to be trusted. Um, what are some of the things that you believe that ALJA can do to have a clear distinction of the media independence and its influence from political maneuverings?
Thank you, thank you. I think one of the things is empowerment. Empowerment in different ways. Um, you know, that question speaks to my heart. Living here in America and watching and being part of what is going on in this country, it's important to look to have some reflections. The media institutions in the United States here, if a reporter goes to look for news, he's not after what we call your cateau in a Liberian terminology. He's not after what financial gain he gets from you because he wants his story. When he gets that story, whether it is a story that has to do with his mom, his pop, or his sister, as long as it has to do with something that has to do with ethical value, he would definitely report that story. Unlike in our country, Liberia, we are at the point where um, more need to be done. And while we were in Liberia, we had a great clarion call to the international community to provide support to Liberia. There's an organization called Internews. Internews is in Liberia that provide funding for the PUL and Liberian media institutions. Now, our point to the Publisher Association was that if these people are providing support to media institutions in the country, of course, now you need to provide support to your reporters. If you provide support to your reporters, now what some of the things that happen when you provide support to the reporters, you become credible, you become independent, you become ethical in your judgment. But when those things are not there, it's difficult because people go in the streets. Think about this, Dr. Ed. I spoke to a cross section of Liberian journalists, and it was appalling to get to know that a couple of them had spoken to me. They said, "Look, I make $150 a month, 150 US dollars a month cannot sustain my week livelihood here in America. It cannot sustain your week livelihood." We know Liberia is a different country. You know, people, cost of living you might think is less, but $150 a month. Do
It's
you
not
expect that
enough.
person to be accountable and ethical in their judgment when it comes to reporting? I would say no, because if that person goes to get a story and that story is a human interest story, and that person needs to pay their way to travel from Monrovia to Logatuo. Are they taking their $150 a month they pay out of that from their family and pay his way or her way to go to Logatuo and go get the news just because it's him story? No. So you see that our newspapers are polarized nowadays with political stories.
Mm-hmm.
They're basically political stories. You would never see a column in all newspaper or many newspaper that said health column. Or let's talk about the people's column. Or let's talk about events taking place in our hinterland. Let's talk about, I mean, you could name it.
Or
It's
culture,
not
or
there.
yes.
Or culture. It's not there because they don't have any support to do that. So how do we work together to ensure that? One of the things that we going to do is basically we as an organization we are not capacitated to provide financial support to each of these media or journalists to be able to do their work. So we've continued to talk to the publishers or the owners of this media institution to say, look, if you are getting um, your reporters out there and they're doing their best for you, you need to capacitate them. Again, there's other caveat to that. One of the owners of media institutions said to me, he said, Baysah, I understand. That's a very good point you've raised to us. But most of our contracts are based on government. We get advertisement, especially newspapers. We get advertisement in government from government. We get advertisement from private sector, some private sector organizations. So government has not paid us our money from our advertisement for the past 6 months. How do we pay our employees?
Hmm.
So it's so much of a problem in ensuring that our own media institutions are also, having problems as well.
Hmm.
You can't 100% blame them for the problem because of their reporters are not doing the right thing. It's basically because of how our country has been for the past 10, 15 years.
Yes.
How do we change that? It calls for a concerted effort. The government, the private sector, civil society organization, the media, we need a national conference that would talk about the role of each of these organizations in bettering our country. And if that is done, we need to sit down and talk about it. Now,
Mhm.
if you're not capable to pay 10 personnel or 10 journalists in an institution at least 500 and above, close that institution down. Or let's begin to think about merging institutions.
Hmm.
Merge institutions and get some money and be able to pay the people that bring in the stories that were out there. We went through the same thing. You and I work in Liberia. We went through the same thing. We were opportune today that we live in the United States. The problems still persist. Nothing has changed.
Hmm.
So my vision here as president of ALJA is to continue to talk to these media institutions to see how we can do some mergers. And these mergers may actually just cause serious, good payments for these journalists.
But the implication for the merging of the media, we have to look at the fact that most of the media institutions in our country has its own interest, and they are established by someone either in politics or in one of the branches of government sponsoring that, and they have the agenda. So that merging, before it takes place, a lot of other factors will have to be looked into, which of course is a brilliant idea. But talking about the political scene here, look at the media and the politics, and your administration has a shot here to do a lot because one, you have the Minister of Information, the new Minister of Information, an AJA member, okay, Pia, Mr. Pia. He understands the operation or the function of AJA and the PUL. He has vast knowledge in not running the media, but working as a media personnel for the government. He was a deputy minister in the past of the not we administration, but the Johnson's administration, Ellen Johnson's administration. Now he's a minister. Uh, You have a good rapport with him, and both of you can work on a lot of other things that ALJA would like to see come true for the media, even though there will be some kind of a maybe agreement and disagreement, because ALJA stands for the truth, the media stands for the truth. You promoting ethics, and also you are promoting some of the democratic ingredients of truth, speaking truth to power. So there may be other chatter waters there at times, but you have a good shot of working with people that you already know, and maybe the vice president's office, Vice President Kuhn's office, his chief of staff, you know, you met with him and you shook hands with him. What did you discuss with him regarding working together in the future?
Dr. Red, the vice president, I look in the vice president face and commended him for his ascendancy to the vice presidential position in government. At the same time, I said to him, I said, ALJA, we've gone to showcase ALJA to him and say, look, we have an organization that is a watchdog, a bigger watchdog, and we're watching on the outside. But this is the thing we're not going to renege on. We're not going to say we're not going to hold your feet to the fire. If you do good, we're going to praise you. If you side step, we're going to tell you side step. If you are doing best in the interest of people, we'll definitely praise you. And he looked at me. He said, so what's about the other journalists that will be sidestepping? I said, no, I'm talking about you right now. The other journalists, we know how to deal with them. We've dealt with them in the past. And, the standard goes across. We're not having standard for you different, having standard for them different. No. But the fight here is we just wanted to get you understand that in as much as we have a member of our organization, part of your administration now, does not negate the fight that we will hold on to holding you accountable. We'll hold you accountable for what you do and what you say. We need collaboration. We need a good working relationship. We expressed to him the importance of ALJA and what ALJA continues to do and what we've done in the past. We even talked to him about our scholarship program at the University of Liberia. And I mean, I must commend him. He said to me, Mr. President, I work along with your representative you have with me right now, not as representative sent by ALJA, but that's his own personal arrangement with him. He said, I'm going to work with him to see how we can better help the Liberian media. And that is our goal. We want people to begin to help our Liberian media institution, but being objective in their reporting. Don't think because they're helping you, so then you're loyal to them or they buy your loyalty. No, that was not our stand when we met the
and also to have access to access when it comes to interviewing him.
Exactly.
They should have access to him.
We said to him that there's always a need that when there are scoops, we call it scoops, when there are information that our journalists happen to hear about your office or even in government as a large, and need some information from you, please make your office available. Please make make yourself available so that we can be able to talk. They can be able to talk to you about the importance of what they've heard and what they want to report about. And he assured us that, Mr. President, under no circumstance that any journalist will come to me with information that they need my side of the story or they need me to clarify something. I will not. He said, but this is the thing that I definitely will caution all Liberian journalists about. He said there are many times Liberian journalists will get stories about me or about people in government, and they will not reach out to these people. They say, all effort to reach out to the next, this person proof
futile.
Yeah.
That's right.
And he was very cautious about that. He said there's a need for us to do more investigative reporting.
Yeah.
Than just reporting because the story is hot. We want to be on the headlines, and he's an inclined gentleman. I must commend him for his mindset in he being around the press for a while. He was a senator and now he's a vice president. But our major mission, our goal here was to inform him of the role ALJA plays in Liberia and the need for ALJA to work with his government in ensuring that our reporters, our journalists in Liberia have free access to them in government,
Mhm.
and the need for them to be able to again promote the interests of the government in the sense of the Liberian press. So there are a lot of times they go out in international conferences, and their need for journalists in in these places to go. Their
Mhm.
need for you to take Liberian journalists to these
Yeah.
conferences to be able to see those things. So we were basically telling him there are a lot of ways that our Liberian journalists can get exposed and report the story that you are making. Then just getting on the plane and go, and then when you come back, you say you're having a press conference. No, the opportunity would need to be given to these people. Need to be given to them.
Yes. Okay. So, like, we almost out of time here now. So, in a nutshell, the Pewee Baysah administration of ALJA 2024, new administration, you have 2 years to serve. Now, what is your agenda for this year when it comes to working with media institutions, the government, the political process? A lot of legislations will be passed or bills will be passed. What are some of the things you're looking at, both externally, that is in our home country, and internally, looking at ALJA membership or national membership as a whole?
Big, Dr. Red, big. I will have a bucket list. One of the things we intend to do immediately, like I said earlier, is to make sure to launch our newsletter, which might be coming on in just a week or two. We intend to make forth our campaign promises we made. We talk about accountability, reporting to our membership quarterly as to our financial standing. Excuse me. We also intend to continue our partnership negotiation with institutions here in America. I talk about the CCX TV, the public radio, the University of Minnesota
Mhm.
is one aspect of our goal this year, to be able to continue our outreach to them to support us. Over the past couple of years, they've been supporting us. They've been providing us a lot of financial support. We intend to continue that. We intend to get more focus on how do we acquire scholarships for Liberian media, for Liberian journalists. We already have one, hopefully, that can come to fruition. We are looking elsewhere to see how we can find some funding for this
You
institution
mean
to be able to,
scholarship for Liberian journalists to go to school in Liberia or for them to come for training in the United
for
States?
them to come to training in the United
United
States.
States, okay.
Yeah, for them to come to training in the United States, and basically that would be a health reporter.
Mhm.
And that was the point I was making earlier on, that
Mhm.
if you have a human interest story, something happening in the health sector, if you have a column in the newspaper that talks about these specific things, it's very beneficiary
Mhm.
to us here. We can be easily able to go out there and say that we have these institutions doing this and we need support for them. We also intend to collaborate with the government of Liberia in showing that there are more improvement
Mhm.
with the relationship between the Liberian journalists and government. We intend to continue our conversation with the President of Liberia, the need for us to begin to work together as an organization. We intend to decentralize, again, our outreach in terms of training.
Mhm.
Most of the trainings we've had in Liberia, we're being basically in Monrovia. When can we say we're having a workshop in Bangabong County? Where can we say we're having a workshop in Bombing, Grand Kidman County?
Mhm.
If we intend to, and if this does not happen, Dr. Red, if this does not happen in my next term and I happen to win my second term, I would definitely tell you that we intend to have a convention of ALJA in Liberia that would bring together Liberian journalists here and Liberian
Yeah.
journalists in Liberia. So there are a lot of things that we're thinking about, but immediately we are thinking that we want to first provide these support to the Liberian media, either logistical or training, and ensuring that these media institutions can be able to help them pay their employees in a way that they be able to do their work. As much as the country is hard, things are difficult in the country, but we can collaborate, and that's what we are working towards in our administration.
Well, that's good. It seems like it is an elaborate plan, and we all hope and pray that you receive all of the support from the national membership as you lay out your vision so that everything can go well. And we all wish you the best. I know you've been around for a while now, and you have seen the ups and downs, knowing for yourself what are some of the things that we need to do as media personnel, and also joining efforts with our colleagues on the ground and making sure that the entire membership of ALJA rally around you to put forward your agenda for this year.
And I want to call off every member of ALJA to support this administration. And you know, I served as vice president for this organization a couple of years ago.
Mm-hmm.
I serve as chairman of the media fund drive for this organization. I raise over thousands of dollars to be able to support our media fund drive at these conventions. I will expect that I will receive the same support my predecessors receive. There's a need for us to work together. ALJA is bigger than you and me. I put ALJA first in terms of whatever that happens with us here, because with ALJA, it's basically a unity we hold together.
Yeah.
When we hold together, we can move mountains.
Yes.
And in moving those mountains, and the Bible says, Dr. Ed, that when you have faith as a mustard seed, you can move anything. Right. So that union, we know that ALJA is an organization of membership.
Mm-hmm.
We want to encourage them to begin to think about how the meeting dues are paid. We want to make sure that they be able to do that before our convention in October sometime this year. But the need for us to work together to promote the interests of the organization. This is not about Pewee Baysah. Pewee Baysah will be going in the next 2 or 4 years. But this is not about him. This is about the organization. What can we use to do to achieve what we all have planned to achieve as an organization?
Yes.
So I want to say thank you so much for allowing us to have this conversation. We are open in the future for further conversation. We intend to begin planning again to see how we can go back to Liberia and see what we can do to provide support to our Liberian media institutions. So there are a lot that we do, and let me make this very clear. 99.9% of the time I go to Liberia at my own expense. ALJA does not pay my plane ticket. It doesn't give me allowance or per dime, but because this is the right thing to do.
Mm-hmm.
As a president of an organization, I think it's important for us to take the organization we've said we're going to lead to a place where everybody can be able to rally around the organization. Okay. So I think we are ready to go, and we are on it.
Yes, and we look forward to seeing you and your vice president, Mrs. Kadia Dukane, to do the best, and we wish you all the success. Thank you so much for stopping by, Mr. President, Pewee Baysah, and may God bless you.
Thank you so much.
All right. And for all of you joining us here, we'd like to say this is how we close our podcast for today. And we have been talking with the president of ALJA, Mr. Pewee Baysah. And he has been talking about some of the initiatives, capacity building that the organization is carrying out in its interaction with the media in Liberia, the Liberian press, making sure that they work together for independence and integrity of the media. Until then, we'll be back here next Saturday. Once again, my name is Alexander Red, your host, and goodbye for now. Don't forget to share this video.